That boy who used to spend days in the garage with only his imagination and a couple hand tools has gotten lost in the grind of the real world. I think it's time we find him. Yeah, it's not much of a scrap pile. In truth, most of this is from my pile of last resort, my burn bin. But I love it, because the best part of this whole project is the smallest piece. The smallest, practically a sliver, a piece of wood that should never have been saved, but without it here, I probably never would have thought of including it, and it accents the whole project. And the fun part of this project is exactly that, making something from nothing. If you follow the channel or watched my poorly done intro, you have seen some of my bookcases, so you know I am an avid reader. And today I'm going to make bookends to hold my next to read list. But I don't want the normal block bookends that have the metal bases and that always fall over when I overstuff them, and I will. And I do not want it to be just a block of wood. Oh, and I want it to expand, say 12 to 16 inches. It's for an end table, so it really can't get much bigger than that. So, here I am, going through my scrap pile, thinking that if I take small pieces of various lengths, widths, and heights, it will give the piece some much needed texture and dimension. And I think I like that. With the pattern picked, I square off the bottom, mark it, and cut them with the miter saw. Then duplicate for the other side. Remember, there will be 2 of these, one for each end. At the table saw, I do what is rapidly becoming my favorite thing. Rip thin slats from a 2x4. I really have no idea why I enjoy it so much. It's like I think I'm getting free wood from nothing. I know, it makes no sense, but I really do enjoy it. I ripped the rounded edges off of a 6 3/4 inch 2x4 and ripped the 2x4 down to 7/8 inch thickness. I then set the feather board to a 1/4 inch and proceed to rip 4 slats. These 4 slats will be used for my sliding base on the bookends. Setting the depth to a 1/4 inch, I cut my notches out of the main base pieces. If you don't have any scrap wood 4.5 inches wide, don't worry. This is a perfect place for a quick glue up. That glue line will be covered by books on one side and all the small pieces on the other. No one will even know. This is truly a full-on scrap wood project. At the wen, I hit it with 120 grit, just removing any saw marks and rough edges, before following up later with a quick hand sand at 150 to finish it up. I stand the main base pieces upright on end for support, then put some glue in the notches, and shoot a couple staples in each end. I chose staples for better holding power. I then repeat for the other side. It's important to check that all 4 base slats go in together like woven fingers. Each side will of course be the reverse of the other. Wipe up any excess glue to avoid glue stains. I am notoriously horrible at this. Also be sure the slats are at 90 degrees to the main base. With everything sanded, you can see it's really coming together now. One side the mirror image of the other. Taking a pencil, I mark the edges I am not going to stain, the back and parts of some sides. I do this so the glue can bond better with the wood. This doesn't have to be precise, and it's better to err on the side of too much stain, versus having to restain later when you get ready for assembly. For stain, I used special walnut on the edge pieces, black stain on one piece, and left the chunky one bare so that the grain will pop with the poly in the end. For the main base pieces, I used dark walnut. The thin little strip that I mentioned in the intro gets a special treatment for an accent color. Now you can use any color you want, but I chose burgundy. Taking a little acrylic paint, alright, maybe a lot more than I intended, I added some water and made a water stain. I leave this stain on until it dries. I do not remove any of the burgundy. If it is too dark at the end and I cannot see the grain, I'll give it a light sanding to tone it down. Once the stain is dry, we glue the smaller pieces together, a quick wipe down for excess glue, and I clamp them and let them sit. When dry, I will simply screw them to the main base pieces, countersinking a couple inch and quarter screws. Yeah, so I screwed up here. This last piece went in the wrong way widthwise. I didn't catch it here, didn't catch it until the very end. I had to break it apart, and yes, glue is stronger than the wood, and so the wood split. Another piece cut, stained, and we were good to go. I finished it all with 3 coats of poly to give it a nice shine and protection. This is a great little project. It holds 4 to 5 books at its smallest, and when expanded doubles to 8 to 10. It really came out well for what it is. Yes, I could have used thicker slats, I could have tongue and grooved them, etc. But this is exactly what I wanted at this point. It holds my next month's reading. Alright, probably more like 3 months at this point in time, but I like it. So, those 3 annoying questions I always ask. Did I succeed? Yes. I probably wouldn't have made the video if I hadn't, but to be honest, I think there will be some that I fail on in the future. Time will tell if I'm brave enough to show them. But regarding this one, I succeeded. It does what I wanted. Expands from 5 to 10 books. Nice and sturdy. I love the burgundy accent strip, even though I spent far too long deciding on the color. Navy was too close to black. Almost went with the forest green, but ended up with the burgundy, and I'm glad I did, even though it came out a little brighter than I had envisioned. Would I do anything different? No, but I would offer up a variation, so to speak. In fact, the more I look at the new sketch, I think this is what I originally had in mind. But somewhere along the way, I added the backer board. I'm thinking I might want to try one without it. So, it would only be the various pieces as the sides. I'd have to make them all 3/4 inch deeper, of course, to still have the heft and weight, but I wonder if it would look better. Maybe not better, but more unique. Will it sell? Yeah, I think so. $30, $35 maybe? You can change it up, paint it, stain it, various hardwoods. Once you have the base template down, it's easy to adapt and the possibilities are endless. But again, I don't sell per se. I leave that to the others. And if you do sell items on Marketplace, Etsy, or fairs, please let me know what you think the value is. I really don't want to be that person who thinks drilling a couple holes in a 2x4 is worth $100 suddenly. Thank you again for watching and supporting the channel. I've gotten such a thrill doing it. It has been a blast learning all the ins and outs. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment anything and everything, where I succeeded and where I failed. And as always, the full cut list is in the description, or if you prefer plans, there is a link there as well. A great way to support the channel further and to ensure you don't lose that project you are hoping to build in the next selling season. Thank you all again. Until the next one.